morning, everyone, and thank you for joining Barron's first masterclass. I hope you and your families have been keeping safe. My name is Mosandlovu, and I'm the marketing manager for Barron. I would like to introduce our panelists and the speakers that will be doing this webinar with me this morning. And as I introduce you, can you please just wave? We've got Mike, who is struggling to log in, so he will join us a little bit later, and I will do his introduction. So joining us today is Steve Isaacson, and he's Barron CEO. We've got Mark Silverman, he's Barron Category Manager for Workwear and PPE. We've got Manuel D'Andrade, and he's the Barron Head of Sales. And as I said, we've got Mike Salomon, Barron Commercial Director. He is struggling to join us just at this point in time, but he will join us probably in a few minutes or seconds. So I think we will begin. I mean, it's been roughly a month now since the coronavirus started to flip our lives upside down. And this one element that we never could have imagined in our lives, it is also having a growing impact, not only in South Africa, but on the global economy. This webinar is intended to provide you, as our resellers, with a perspective on the evolving situation and the opportunities in the promotional industry. I would like to encourage you to please stay tuned till the end, because we will be sharing content that you'll be able to use as your marketing strategy to your customers. And this will include your product kit, videos, a catalog, images, and other elements for you to market on your social media. Please note that you can also ask questions during the webinar. There is an icon that says Q&A, and you can click the button there and type your question, because we're hoping to answer as many questions today as possible so that you are satisfied. Steve, I mean, the president made it quite clear in his address that he acknowledges the great endurance and sacrifice by South Africans, as well as the devastating effect on the economy. He was also clear that we are still in the early stages of this pandemic, and as such, the pandemic requires us and the economy to respond just as equal to this disruption. What do you believe the impact on coronavirus will be on the promotional industry, and how can we best respond?
Getting through these very challenging times. As you noted, Musa, the future is clearly unknown, and we see how quickly things are evolving, over each day. But certainly no business or industry or economy is going to be spared from the devastating effects of coronavirus. I've recently had conversations with our partners, with industry bodies, with friends globally, to understand the impact on the promotional industry. And unfortunately, we are going to be very severely impacted as an industry, and probably likely one of the last to recover. The forecasts are on the most, conservative, positive side, probably around 25% down for the balance of the year, all the way, forecasting upwards of 75% down. And we know that this is due to pretty much every event has been cancelled for the balance of the year. Most corporates are freezing their discretionary spend. Nobody's expecting year-end gifts. The South African economy is going to contract by, over 10%, and true unemployment over 50%. So, it is, very severe, and we know that our industry is going to be very much impacted by all of this. But there is opportunity, and I think that's what we're trying to, talk about today. So the one opportunity, clearly everybody is going to have to have the ability to adapt in their business. And, one is going to have to look at survival, and we'll hopefully chat more about that a little bit later, in the webinar. But the opportunities that do exist is, we know that certain industries are going to be less impacted than others. Some industries, although few, will even benefit from this pandemic. And then there will be those exporters who are also going to be benefiting from the devalued rand as well. So the industries that we've identified as potential opportunities that, our distributors, partners can look at. It's obviously the healthcare industry, then agriculture, food, groceries, the mining sector with the rand, security, digital and technology. And, there are areas of growth. Clicks just announced, I think yesterday, that they plan to open 38 new stores during the year. So there will be those opportunities. But we believe that, the biggest opportunity for the promo industry is going to be in PPE and employee wellness. And if we look at what, the response from suppliers and distributors globally, it is repurposing themselves to become PPE businesses. And at Kevro, we've been successfully building a trusted PPE and workwear collection over the past 10 years. And, we're very proud to be able to share that, today with our partners. Our range includes medical scrubs, coveralls, protective wear, high visibility wear, masks, and much more. And these are not products, that we've just introduced. They're products that we've been doing for many, many years, and we truly understand them as well. And then, of course, meeting the demands of COVID-19, I'm really proud of our merchandising and product development team who have been hard at work over this lockdown, sourcing an incredible range of COVID-19 stay-in safe employee wellness products. Together with our comprehensive apparel, winter range, and our other categories, we believe that we've got a great solution to partner together with all of you in order to respond. And as devastating as this pandemic is on the economy and on our industry, there is opportunities. And I guess, that's where we can help.
Sure. Thank you, Steve. We've got Mark Silverman who has joined us, and you will see that on your screen, we've got polls that will be coming through just for us to get an understanding of, what do you need in this point in time in your business? And obviously, we will take this into consideration once we are done with the webinar. So when you can click. It's a multiple choice. It gives you an option to click on your best answer. So welcome, Mark Silverman. As I said that he struggled with a bit of connectivity. So Mark Silverman, he is the category manager for workwear and PPE. As Steve mentioned, there's great opportunities really that we should look forward to when we talk about level 4. And as we know, as South Africans, our true spirit is in working together. He also mentioned that Barron has been in the workwear and PPE industry for over 10 years. And this is not new for us. And I did mention when I started the webinar that it's not merely a sanitizer or a mask offering that we're going to be discussing. We're really going to unpack what is PPE and what does that mean for your business, and how do you transit from gifting industry and now start talking about essential products to your customers. So Mark, can you please just take us through what can we expect from Barron for the rest of the year, or at least for the next month or so?
Sure. Thank you very much. Thanks, Musa. Thanks for the introductory. Okay. Okay, thanks, guys. I'm just going to go do a little bit of a presentation now on, why PPE is essential for your business. Okay, so my name is Mark Silverman. I head up the workwear division for Barron. It's been a privilege to be part of the Barron family for the past 8 years. I've been in this industry for over 2 decades, so please excuse my grey hair. Who would have thought in January the essential items would be the number one priority, your number one priority? We at Barron, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, have brought you a range of essential items. These items include your Barron disposable coveralls, Barron men's and ladies scrubs, sublimated face masks, cotton face masks, 3-ply surgical masks, face shields, nitrile gloves, hand sanitizers, and safety goggles. As we are all aware, the government has passed a legislation stating that all citizens need to wear a face mask, preferably fabric, when in public places. The great news is we currently have stock of 3-ply surgical masks, fabric sublimated masks, and face shields. We also have nitrile and latex gloves available on request. Now onto our hand sanitizer range. The amount of alcohol that our hands have consumed of late, we should all be classified as alcoholics. We at Barron have brought in a great range from 50 mils all the way to 5 liters. We can also source the foot pumps and wipes and sachets. Now back to the basics. What is PPE? Well, PPE is personal protective equipment. We at Barron have you fully protected from head to toe. We stock a wide range of Conti suits, safety footwear. A wide range of safety footwear, Conti suits, and high visibility. We have 8 different subcategories, namely the outdoor and leisure, footwear, security, protective outerwear, high visibility, chef wear, service and medical, and accessories. We have a full summer and winter clothing range. High visibility wear is becoming an essential item in industrial mining, construction, and agricultural sectors in Africa. That's why we are proud to be the market leaders in this category. Workwear is a great add-on for your business in this tough economic environment we find ourselves in, and Barron has a full offering of all your PPE clothing requirements. Our professional procurement team makes certain we always have a complete workwear range to cater for all your clients' needs. All Barron's Conti suits are manufactured locally in an SABS-approved factory. We are proud to announce we have just brought in a new ladies' Conti suit, so we are now happy to say we cater for ladies too. We carry over 100,000 Conti suits at any given time in our warehouse. All our safety boots are NRCS approved, and our Barron Defender safety boot and armor safety shoe are both SABS approved. For those of you who have never had PPE added to your range, here are a few reasons why you should. PPE is a 6 billion rand industry in South Africa and grows year on year. There are more people in South Africa wearing protective outerwear than any other clothing item. All major industries in SA require PPE, especially your mining and construction sector. The SA government has enforced and stipulated that all people who are exposed to hazardous environments need to be clothed with suitable PPE. We also have a medical and wellness range. This includes ladies and men's scrub pants and tops, as well as theatre caps and our loafer clogs. We also stock dust coats in various colors, as well as our lab coats in short and long sleeve. Our protective outerwear consists of a budget Conti suit all the way to our supreme executive Conti suit. These will be predominantly worn by the industrial workforce. Here is our rainwear range. This includes a raincoat and a 2-piece either with and without reflective tape. As I've mentioned previously, we are the market leaders when it comes to high visibility. We stock a wide range of jackets, golfers, and waistcoats. Moving along to our footwear. Before going on site, make certain to lace up tight with the right footwear. We at Barron have a range of footwear to cater for all your needs. We have the Optimus mining boot, Defender, Armor, Chelsea, and Protector security canvas boot, as well as a range of gum boots. I would like to end off by saying you are invisible and unsafe without PPE. Thank you all and stay safe.
Thank you so much, Mark. I am trying to consolidate most of the questions that have been asked. And I see that a couple of people wanted to find out, will this recording be live and available? It will be recorded, and as soon as we're done, I think as of tomorrow, we'll be able to share it so that you can share it with your wider team. As you heard when Mark went through the presentation, I mean, there's so much that we can look forward to. I mean, he mentioned our extensive range from Conti suit, coats, medical protective outerwear, rainwear, high-vis footwear, mask, and sanitizers. And these products are already available. There's a few products that are not on our website just as yet, but most of them are available immediately. Please visit our website, which only has the essential products, and this is www.lockdown.barron.com, and this is where you're going to find the products and you're able to place your orders immediately. Mark, there's a few questions that are coming through, so I'm just going to ask you a few questions just based on the presentation that you've just done now. First question, for a lot of contracts, local manufacturer is requested. Are Barron Conti suits manufactured locally?
Yes, thank you, Musa. That's a good question. Yes, so all our Conti suits are locally manufactured in a SABS-approved facility. We also stock a few other items in our workwear range that are also locally manufactured, like our freezer wear, a few of our or most of our chef wear, should I say, as well as all our security combat sets, and and a few of our high visibility wear, like quite a few of our jackets are also locally manufactured.
Sure, and I just want to answer Henry that the products are not available at this point in time, which she's asked around sanitizers and masks. They're not available, but everything will be available by tomorrow, end of business, on the website that that Mark has shared, and he's also happy to share the presentation that he has done, just to answer a few questions that are also coming through just now. Another one is, unfortunately, we've had some issues with stock from Kevro. Do you hold a large amount of stock in your PPE catalog from the presentation that you have just done now?
Yes, so basically we do carry, as I said, we carry over like 100,000 Conti suits at any given time in our facility. However, workwear is a very volatile sector. So basically, people we carry quite a large amount of stock. However, somebody can come and buy large amounts tomorrow of certain items, and that puts us, in a bit of a predicament that we are out of stock. But we do forecasting each year. We've got a professional procurement team that helps me. We do the whole forecasting on new items as well as stock every year.
Great. And I guess, are you able to offer any training to our customers' sales force? Because some of them are owners, but they do not have their salespeople that has joined the webinar. Are you able to give them training based on the presentation that you've just shared with us?
Yes, so we do full, yes, obviously I'm calling it the past, but we do full training in our facility, as well as we can go to their facility and do a full professional training. However, now with this this unfortunate pandemic that we've got, everyone is going on to online. So we've got a full online training platform that we are using now. So yes, we are fully jacked up for training.
Sure. And I've been asked to repeat the website, Gentina Patrieta. The website is www.lockdown.barron.com, and I will repeat it at the end, and if not, you will be receiving communication tomorrow, and it will come with the website and the content that I've mentioned earlier on, and I will do that in closing. Mark, just one more question is, how big is PPE market in South Africa? Is there still a lot of potential for promotional companies to drive this category?
Yes, definitely. So as I said, PPE is a 6 billion rand industry in South Africa alone. And that's not even across sub-Saharan Africa, So basically, yes, there's definitely, it's definitely a brilliant add-on into your company if you haven't started doing any PPE. So now's the time. And yes, and basically, my category, my workwear category, is the fastest growing category at the moment at Barron.
Thank you so much. I mean, Mark Salomon, who is our commercial director, I just want to talk about agility. I mean, at the beginning of the presentation, Steve did also touch on how flexible businesses need to be at this point in time when you speak of COVID-19. And obviously, when you look at level 4, agility has become synonymous with pandemic. Can a reseller be able to repurpose their business to be a PPE business?
Well, first of all, just hello to everyone who's on here. I mean, it's amazing to see how many people have joined us. I hope everyone is keeping safe. Instead of just being cooped up at home, that we are applying our minds as to what this will look like going forward. Because I think that, the sentiment that Steve's already put across, that the world is substantially different, is definitely the case. And I think there are a lot of unknowns, and we need to be playing our scenarios in our minds, and actually have some quite concrete laid out plans to be agile over the foreseeable future. If I just dwell on the history of Kevro, this is it's fortunately and unfortunately in terms of timing, it's our 30th anniversary this year, and the thing that really defines Kevro is that out of necessity and desire, we've created substantial changes in the offering over the years to make sure that we are relevant and that we are taking advantage of opportunities. So if we go back to the beginning, and actually for most of the period of the existence of Kevro, we were primarily a promotional apparel business. Systematically from 2010 till now, we've added what is the biggest offering of categories worldwide in promotional business. And, the reinvention of the business was necessitated out of the fact that being in South Africa and trying to constantly aim for growth, we would have to reinvent all the time. And I think that this phenomenon is not just a Kevro and Barron story. I think it's an African story, it's a South African story, and it's definitely a story that's relevant to our resellers. So, when you start looking at the uses of our products, there's two distinct uses that come across at a high level, namely being uniform and promotional. Now, PPE would be firmly in the uniform side of the business, and there's a lot of benefits to this in that you can keep customers that coming back year in, year out for their PPE, whereas the promotional side of the business arguably is a lot more lumpy. I think in the foreseeable future, we are going to see quite a significant pullback of promotional activity. I just wanted to say that we definitely don't advocate that. We for a long time have said that our promotional products are a very inexpensive way and very penetrative way of dealing with getting brands out into the market. And we believe that in a tough economic environment, there's ever more relevance to that. So when taking this into consideration, I think, the ability to sell PPE is an extension of the promotional selling on the basis that you stay true to what we have always done with our products, and that is carry an organizational logo. We believe that by doing that, we'll be able to, first of all, take PPE and repurpose it into a promotional item almost by creating a walking billboard. So we always encourage it to be branded up. And once we've established that principle, and the resellers have established that principle, there'll be a situation where we can, instead of having a switch that needs to be turned on and transitioning back into promotional, that it can be a reignition of the promotional spend and a transition smoothly back into where we were. So yeah, sorry if I carried on a little bit too long, but those are a couple of thoughts.
Sure, no, absolutely. And I think we also have African resellers, obviously, or the rest of Africa, who is probably asking the question of what does this mean now for my business in terms of getting the products that you have showcased this afternoon?
Well, the one thing for sure of COVID-19 is that it is dangerous. And social distancing is something that's with us for the foreseeable future. And that means that the dynamics around engaging with the products to get through the sales process, as well as to get the actual products delivered to where they need to be, is going to change considerably. We're already playing with a few concepts around how we get the products directly to the resellers, and possibly even if on the behalf to get it to where it ultimately needs to be, without being in contact and therefore contaminating. But when we start talking about rest of Africa, it's now taking into account differing geographies, and the rest of Africa isn't a country, it's a whole lot of different countries. Each one has its own elements of the virus and let's call it spread of virus to deal with, and also has a whole lot of different aspects to what the restrictions will be in getting the products across border. So I think that over the next while, we're going to commit that we'll understand exactly what's going on and what needs to be done from getting physical goods across border.
Sure. And I think with everybody else that has joined us does understand that this is new for all of us. So we're taking it one step at a time, and we're hoping to survive, and we hope that everybody gets through to the other side. There is a poll as well launched, I think a minute or so ago. So when you get time, just please quickly just share your thoughts, or just tick on the box that is quite relevant for you, because this kind of like gives us an idea of how PPE will look like for you in terms of a business, and where can we be of assistance. I see 2% said, I still don't feel comfortable selling PPE workwear. Thank goodness we've got Mark Silverman, who will be taking you through. I mean, he will handhold you should you have questions. I think most of you do have his email address. If not, I think you do have some sales email address that you're able to get hold of Mark, and he will drive you through. I mean, Mark, you did speak of 30 years, and I just want to speak to Manuel on this. I mean, 30 years does mean that we do have 30 years of a heritage, and we've been around for quite some time now, but it also comes with a few challenges. And Manuel, there's a question that I've quite tried to consolidate that most customers are asking, and I'm hoping you're able to give them an answer. It says that Kevra has had a lot of issues with the new systems and moving warehouses, which caused customers endless problems. When you open after the lockdown, what can we expect from your stock situation, computer system, and services?
Thanks, Marisa. I've been making some notes. I've been watching the chat and the Q&A. This sounds like questions that you've wrapped up from Mariette, Dave, Janet, PJ Gadden. You guys are all asking the same sort of question. So let me just tell it like it is. It's not the first time I've had this question asked, by the way. At the outset, I've got to say to all of you, apologies for the less than ideal start to the year that you had with Kevra. We made it quite difficult dealing with us. I have to admit, we started to get these improvements coming through in that customer experience, and then bang, lockdown, season 1. Ironically though, the lockdown gave us an opportunity to start sorting out some of these issues. We had a great work from home team working remotely, dealing with it. And we've accomplished a lot. And just as we're about to go live again, bang, lockdown season 2. Thank you, Mr. President, for extending it. And that gave us a little bit more time. I hate to be flippant, but we've used the time wisely, and I think you're going to be happy, much happier, when we get back to operating again. I've got a lot of confidence from our management, daily management check-ins, and I'm satisfied that I can go out in front of you guys and say, you'll be a lot happier. Particularly around the efficacy of our website, of our essential systems trading, we saw that we definitely have improved tremendously. In a post-COVID world, I think we're pretty well geared to get back to normal. It would be foolish of me to say we're going to hit the ground running. We're not going to be sprinting when we hit the ground. We've got to get all our people back at work. And that could take a week or two to get bedded down. So I'm asking you to bear with us a little bit. But Mariette, PJ, I hope that's answered your question.
Thank you, Manuel. And then a second question again. This coronavirus is making it very difficult to get back to our normal lives at the shops, gym, and our own offices. How will we be able to interact with Kevro?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of guys ask this type of question. I know how you feel. I purposely kept my, so I'm just clearing my screen here. I purposely kept my movements very limited because I didn't want to expose myself to the virus. And my wife prefers to keep me locked up in my study at home, so that's also cool. But Kevro is committed to providing you with accurate information, prompt feedback. We're getting as many of our customer-facing people back on stream as quickly as possible. We'll have a lot in the Joburg office, and we've got a big contingent that'll be working from home. So we'll be able to communicate with you just how we're doing with it. Interaction, though, is going to be tricky. This pandemic is serious. I mean, it's properly serious, and we are treating it that way. So I'm going to ask that anybody who comes to our facilities in Joburg for collections, please adhere to our social distancing protocols, our hygiene protocols. These guidelines are in place for all the right reasons, guys. It's not for fun. We're taking this very seriously. And I've got to say, for the moment, our showrooms and all our branch offices are going to remain.
Okay, I think.
Have I disappeared?
Yes, you did for just a couple of seconds. So if you can.
Sorry about that. I'm back. Cape Town has some slow Wi-Fi sometimes, I suppose. Sorry about that, guys. But I think I'm just going to urge people to use technology as much as possible rather than a physical presence. And it doesn't speak to exclusively dealing with us at Kevro. It talks to everything that you do. So with us, refer your customers to your website or to our Barron.com platform. Interact with us and process your own orders via the Kevro.coza platform. So check stock, check pricing, place orders, monitor progress and track your orders all online. Kevro.coza is there for that. So again, just rather than coming to our sites, use couriers. I had one query from, where did I make the note here? Jason Oberholzer. Jason, you said we've been exclusively with RTT during the lockdown. Yes, they were the only people that we had the proper guarantees and credentials from, that they would operate according to our standards and they would be compliant with the government regulations. But we believe under level 4 that we will start to be able to engage with your own couriers. So stand by. Beslin, our Chief Operating Officer, has assured me that the protocols are being explored so that by Monday we can be clear on how we work that way. And I'm just looking forward to getting back to normal, whatever that is and whenever that is too. Thanks for those questions, guys.
Well, I think normal, this is going to be the new normal for quite a while. Martin Chitura, I think he also asked something, and I just want to summarize it, is we will be sharing just how you get to sell your masks, your glove, or how do you make the sale to your customers. And I think just to address that, because I see it coming through, how do we sell this? So we will be sending you just a selling kit, as I mentioned earlier on, that you will get a marketing strategy on how to sell to your businesses. Steve, you noted earlier that most businesses will need to make significant changes to survive. What is Kevro doing to meet these challenging times?
Yeah, thanks, Musa. So I think that, every business, as I noted earlier, is going to have to think very differently. And I think the one thing, although, we don't know what the future holds, we do know that business will look very different after COVID, AC, versus BC before COVID. And I think that that's a reality. And for us, we've had to make some really tough decisions and be very deliberate in our approach and actions, like so many other organizations. And the reality is that we're going to look a little different. We're going to be a bit beat up, but we'll hopefully still be here. And, besides for working with our with our bankers and institutional shareholders to ensure liquidity and solvency. We've been working hard over this lockdown period around designing a future fit transformation program, really looking at what our business is going to look like post this pandemic. And, there are a number of different streams. The biggest one that every company needs to be thinking about is obviously their cost base and the cost to serve. And in that space, certainly for us as an organization, with over 1,000 people, very sadly, we've had to introduce a Section 189 retrenchment process, as well as temporary staff cuts and short time. This is obviously very distressing and probably one of the most difficult things for, certainly a CEO, but for a business to have to go through. But it's just required, in order to ultimately survive, given that we do expect demand to come off. And then we've had to relook at our, distribution model and sales structure. We, introducing digital sales channels, exploring direct customer deliveries, looking at drive-through collection options, given, the current pandemic. Really just, one needs to think differently, and one needs to think out the box in order to come up with the right, long-term solution. Also, from a range perspective, we know, as Mike noted earlier, across our 7 categories, we've probably got the widest offering, possibly worldwide. And we're now looking at range rationalization and inventory optimization, very important in terms of management of cash. And then, we're going to be, like all organizations should be thinking, and I'm sure that many of our, distributors out there thinking around embracing technology and looking to simplify one's business. And we're trying to apply global best practices. An example, South Africa is probably one of the only countries in the world where one returns samples, which is, causes havoc on, your return logistic process. So, you're going to, we're going to have to look at things like that. We're going to have to look at, our loyalty programs, selling in size ratio, packs of units. None of these things have been decided, but they just, points that we're busy exploring and looking at, and, going to encourage, all of you as our partners, to help guide us. But the reality is that things are going to be done differently, post-COVID. Clearly, our number one priority is to ensure the continued health and safety of our employees and all our partners. And, as we start getting into the new normal, we'll obviously follow all the recommended precautionary guidelines. And I think simply, we all in the storm together. Although we have our own boats to navigate these stormy waters, the reality is that we all in it together. And I think that that's the real message that we're trying to get across on this webinar, today, is how do we partner with our valued customers, to hopefully build sustainable businesses together.
Sure, thank you, Steve. As you've mentioned, and I did highlight earlier on, as South Africans, our spirit is in working together, and we hope that we will make it to the other side, because survival now becomes the main topic when you started to talk about businesses during COVID-19. I just want to ask Mike a question, and just to go back to just remind, I think, all of our resellers that we are still under level 4. So level 4, I mean, as of the 1st of May, still requires us to only sell essential services. So that means that the certain products that might not be available that we sell, that will not be available as of the 1st of May. So that's why I did do a recommendation of visiting our microsite website that only focuses on products that we're able to sell immediately, and to products that you are able to I think propose to your customers. Mike, there's a question for you, and it says there's so much uncertainty and we're afraid many of our clients may not be back to normal soon. one area that is especially worrying because of China and the weak rand is pricing. When are you looking at the next price increase?
So I think, just in terms of that type of uncertainty, so the economy is not in a great stage right now. I mean, we're talking about a serious contraction of economic activity, and at the same time, there are a lot of pressures from suppliers overseas in terms of, and not from the suppliers themselves, but because the rand is now around 19. I see today it's recovered a little bit, but it's very, very volatile and still significantly weaker than it was. Now, partly because of our own doing, we didn't trade to our the right levels in the first 3 months, and as a result, we're very, very heavily stocked right now, and a lot of that inventory is a little bit older, and as such, whilst there's no doubt on certain products, and particularly as they get replaced over the course of the year and beyond, there will be a necessity to price up. We will resist as much as humanly possible to go in the foreseeable future. Certainly, the concept of price gouging is very topical right now, and we have absolutely no interest in entertaining anything like that. We are, as always, we're a trading organization, and whilst we have a very firm trading policy, and I just wanted to touch, I think there was a comment that just asked around COD terms. We will give a little bit more clarity going forward around what that means for you guys. But unfortunately, cash is very tight in the economy right now, and our recommendation to resellers is that the terms that are extended to end customers, to brand owners, is also very, very tightly controlled, because no one wants to do business, particularly put in the hard yards to get deals done and not get paid. So just to get back to the pricing, right now we're holding our pricing as much as possible, and in most instances it will remain the same. But as we do start getting in higher priced inventory, there will be a necessity to price on. We will communicate accordingly.
Musa, if I could just add for a second, I'm sorry, but the one thing just, for us, it's always been about being priced right. And one of the considerations, obviously, when we looked at adding COVID-19 relevant products to our range, we were very mindful to make sure that there is the required margin of our partner resellers in that. So there were certain options that we chose not to include, including quite a bit of, surgical grade equipment, because it was very important that we were competitively priced on everything that we have added to our range.
Sure. Thanks, Steve. Manuel, here's a question for you. As we're all aware, Barron has been having challenges on orders, including backlog. With the lockdown, means production has also shut down. So what plans have you made to catch up? Because we still up to now see our orders from last year only being dispatched now. My worry is, will we be able to get orders on a normal 5 to 7 working day lead time?
So it was around production delays, about catching up. I see that WRD marketing, you've been asking about those. So I'll come back to that. And lead times. Yeah. Rian van der Merwe, Twizel de Jager, Melanie Craddock, Stefan Wolfhard. You're all asking about these things. So here we go. I think I'm going to answer about half a dozen of you in one hit. Production lead times. Our factories were certainly delayed and impacted by the knock-on effect of coronavirus in China. We know that's where it's purported to have started. Mike's part answered a lot of this, and I think important to me is that our self-imposed low sell-offs in Q1 mean that we're sitting with some pretty solid stock situations right now, and the impact of the delays in China are not really going to be that critical to us. Also, we've got a fortune of stock that we still need to bring into our facilities. We can talk a little bit more operationally around how we're clearing that in at another stage, though. Catching up, I think that's also been part answered, WRD. we've been working on the system cleanup over the last 5 weeks, and we're taking a lot of the unwanted noise out of it. The focus is going to be on essentials, and as soon as the pressure is off from a government perspective, legislation perspective, the non-essentials will catch up on those. And I just have to say that the lead time, I had a conversation with Yolanda, we all know Yolanda, this morning around this in particular, because I was anticipating, after having had a couple of conversations yesterday with customers, we're comfortable that we're going to be doing a 4 to 5 day lead time. It's not fast enough for me, and it's surely not fast enough for all of our customers out there. But in my view, I think where we are today in the current trading environment, I think 4 to 5 days is going to be good enough for most people. So I hope that's answered most of those questions. I've been taking notes. There's loads of questions coming through. Thanks, Moose.
If I could just add, I know that, there's been quite a few questions around branding, and we will be going, when we start operating on next Monday, we obviously going to be those people who can work remotely because of the quota of 1/3 of your staff. We're going to keep that for our operations team, which is going to include our branding departments. So all branding departments are going to be up and running from Monday as well. Obviously, we don't know what demand looks like, and there will be more of a skeleton kind of staff, considering that we can only bring in 1/3, and we've got to spread those skills across the various different branding departments. But certainly we'll be operational on branding from Monday as well.
Sure. I mean, level 4 requires, I think, winter wear. They did say that stores will be open to sell winter wear. Steve, what does this look like in terms of our range when we talk winter wear, when we talk apparel? What do we have to offer to our customers?
Yes, so sadly, over this lockdown, we couldn't have a full launch of our new apparel catalog, which is incredible. We wanted to make something very, very special to coincide with our 30th anniversary. And, we will be making that catalog available digitally. And, as soon as we can get it out, we'll get that out. And in that, we know that we've got a very comprehensive winter wear range. We've got a significant stock. Again, some of the stock, there's a little bit of confusion because at the ports, our stock went into storage. And, some of those storage containers contain both what they classify as essential wear, which is our winter, as well as non-essential. We're busy actually with lawyers at the moment because, they're making us unpack each one of these containers. We've got, I think, over 30 in storage now, and only, to only move the essential items. So obviously things evolve very quickly, and we'll see where that takes us. But in terms of our range, we also got our display range, which we believe is going to be an important way of getting the COVID-19 message across. There are items there. There's certain items in our gifting range where we've repurposed, to make it very relevant for COVID-19, as well as what has been classified as essential, your stationery, so all your notepads, your writing instruments, etc. And then when we talk about winter wear, it's also all our long sleeve golfers, lounge shirts, tracksuits, etc. So it's quite wide. In our Stay in Safe catalog that we'll be sending out tomorrow, in order to keep it compressed that you can all send it out, we've actually have only included a very limited number of winter wear, but we will be sending out our full apparel range catalog, which obviously has the full winter range in there.
Thank you so much, Steve. Mark, I just have one more question for you because we've got 7 minutes left. It says PPE product development is a valid strategy. How will Barron compete with existing specialists that offer PPE? Can we expect Barron to create dominance in that market, as we are used to you being one of the leaders in corporate gifts and clothing, and at the moment a reasonable PPE provider? So I think we've got 2 questions here. How will Barron compete with existing PPE providers? That's one. And then they're used to us being corporate gifts and clothing, and how do we now become PPE provider, I think, to make it easier for their business.
Yeah, okay. So basically, you know, we have a look at all our competitors, all their pricing, etc. And we just got to keep up with the game. You know, if your pricing is, right, you will sell. You know, but you can't duck up the pricing. You got to keep watching what your competitors are on a daily basis, and that, you know, just to keep up with the times. And yeah, basically, and sorry, Musa, the second part of the question, I just want to, what was the second part there?
Can we expect Barron to create dominance in that market when you talk PPE?
Yes, well, we can. I mean, we are, as I say, you know, we are growing rapidly. I mean, PPE is as I say, it's the fastest growing category within Barron, and we don't sleep, you know. So we will always make certain that we have, well, in a perfect world, we'll have enough stock at the right price for all our customers. So yes, obviously, again, it's stock is king, and obviously price is also very, very important. So
I'm going to ask one last question just around operations, of which I think we did touch on, but I think customers just need to get some form of reassurance around how does backlog for them look like on their stock? Will they be receiving the stock that they've placed from January to now? I mean, all of us did address that this is still level 4, which means that we offer essential services, but I think if you can just give them just a rounded response of what that will look like when probably we under level 2 or level 1.
For me, Moose?
Well, you can take it. Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I think we have covered it. There's, I think we've made great progress, and the catch up, as I've said, we'll probably only have that when we're in level 3 is when we start to be able to focus on that. Under level 4, it's still critically focused on essential products. And we've had a few people questioning or sending through that question. While I've got the mic, I'm just going to grab this opportunity quickly. So I think Fabrice Kayo, that your question about branding's been answered. Taryn, your question about branding's been answered. Petri, Steve gave you a very detailed answer around the winter clothing. Greg, dropship, we've done some testing on it already, and Dale's going to be able to help your team with that. Linda Pattinson on the branches. We're focusing our people right now on online. We really don't want to have people sitting in offices as much as we can, or for as long as we can. We want to keep them working remotely. So we'll open them when we're permitted to do and when it's perfectly safe. Right now, the branch is online, and the focus, of course, is on essential product. And then Nicolene van Lochrenberg. There's always going to be one that's going to say, what is this that you don't supply trade only? Nicolene, manuel@kevro.co. Let's talk. If you have any evidence to suggest that any of my people are supplying direct, I'd love to have that conversation. I must just caution you that Rand Water were on site to fix a water problem. Peter and Cheryl supply Rand Water. That's done. Eskom are there for our electricity in our new building. Gail, you've got Eskom sewn up if Graham doesn't do it. So please, you're welcome to contact me direct, manuel@kevro.co, and let's talk about it, Nicolene. I'd like to put your mind at ease. I think that's all from me.
So much. Thanks, Manuel. We literally have 2 minutes. Do you guys want to round it off? Any last points that you feel that you probably want to address, or you want to drive it home before we end our webinar today?
So, Musa, I think that the only thing is that really this is about partnership, and that's what, has, that's what we've tried to build, over the years, is a partnership with you, our valued customers. And I think that we've got a great offering and solution for you, to really go and tackle in this very, very difficult time. And I think that also, not just in terms of, as Musa says, we'll be sending out our, our Stay in Safe catalog and links to our microsites and to, our other marketing material that we've developed specifically for COVID-19. But also, how do we assist and support you as a, as a small business, as a medium-sized business, we're going to be looking at that and potentially, having more webinars with some experts and some financial business, consultants that can support us, that we can get through this together. And it is going to be, very tough. You've heard, the very difficult decisions that we've had to make as an organization. I believe most of our competitors are making similar. We know that, most other organizations, both locally and globally, are responding like this, and it's critically important that we do. And if anybody would like to chat to me or to anybody else on this panel, we'd love to engage with you if we can support you or give you any other advice. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining.
Thank you so much, Steve. I mean, a lot of questions have been asked, and we've tried to answer as many questions as we can. And as I stated, and as Steve stated now, we're all available to be able to assist you. And should you not be satisfied with the questions that you have asked and how we've answered, we're available to take this a little bit further. And just a reminder that we will be emailing you the catalog Stay Safe COVID-19. And we've got a winter catalog that only focuses on the winter range. We've got a microsite that is available. I'll repeat to the website again. It's www.lockdown.barron.com. We will be sharing product kit videos, images that you'll be able to use for your social spaces. So please visit our website that only focuses on the product, because that means that you're able to place your orders right now. I hope this will give you a head start to your business. So from the entire Barron team, thank you for joining us, and stay safe.